With flower bed number 1 out of the way and all the rocks put in, taken care of, time to turn our attention over here to number 2. And in preparation, I got rid of about half of the skid of this paving block, the paver blocks that I had up here. I left 72 of them up here and took the rest down there where I got the rock from. Get them out of the way, we don't need them. So let's wheel on over here to see what we got to do to get this one started. Basically, I'm going to have to cut a trench around this bed, take the sod off, and then figure out how far I want that first paver to sit in the ground in relation to our well casing. I need to get in here and do some weeding first, take care of that stuff, and move a tree. We got a little maple tree over here. I gotta figure out what to do with him. And hopefully we'll get this party started. Today we're done. I made some pretty good progress out here. I got all the sod stripped off. For tomorrow we can start installing them pavers. I'll probably have to do a little bit of leveling because it's a little higher over here than it is over here. So I might have to dig that out a little bit more maybe. But I'll probably have to end up sinking almost one paver all the way in the ground anyway because of the height of the well casing. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. I think that's about enough for today. I got to go away tonight. And give me some time to think if I need it. And we'll pick up tomorrow morning. Good Sunday morning to everybody out there. It's about 8:30. And a little bit ago it was so foggy you couldn't hardly see the road or the pond from here. That's all subsided and excuse me, has drawn back, and now everything's just dewy and wetter than crap. So I get this project rolling this morning. Get this done and we can call it a day and go do something else. All the sod's been removed around our flower bed. I had a few spots here I had to take out because nothing grows there but grass all the time, and my wife's getting tired of it. So we went ahead and took the flat bottom spade of the shovel and pulled as much of it out of there as we can. Now it'll grow back probably, we'll have to keep it under control. But we've made a conscious effort to get rid of as much as we possibly could. And that'll just be used to fill holes in the yard and stuff like that. Now, this is our highest spot over here in the yard where we're starting at. Over there is our lowest spot. The ground slopes that way, downhill that way. So what I want to do is start with this paver either at or just a hair below ground. And that would give me enough height by the time I get around there I'll be okay, that I won't have to build up the ground. Because we have had a lot around here with our flower beds. Excuse me. That I edged a lot of this with brick. That's the way it's been for years. That the ground's sinking. So in turn, the brick might pop up out of the ground, or the ground outside's lower than what it is inside. So you got to set the brick so high that eventually it does what it does right here. It falls over. See how it's tilted back just a little bit? And eventually it'll do one of these numbers and just flip up out of the ground. Now, I don't want that. I shouldn't have that problem with these. If I'm standing back here, you can kind of see the slope of the ground. It kind of comes back and down that way at the same time. So this side around here is our highest side, and that's where we're going to start at. Now that's about where I want my first paver at. It's just below grade. Now I know it doesn't make any sense to put a 90-cent paver in the ground. You'll never see it. But if you want good results that are going to last, and this is just my experience and my opinion that's talking, you know, I'm not a professional by any means, and if you spend time doing your prep work and packing your trench or whatever you're going to build upon, you spend a good bit of time doing that and leveling up your first course, your results will last forever. You know, I figured the one I put over here by my garage 5 years ago, the first winter it would have heaved and been all over the place. Well, no, it's not moved at all. As a matter of fact, a mole went through that bed underneath a couple of them this past summer, or this summer I should say, And he didn't budge any of them because I tamped that whole trench over there with a 10-inch steel compactor and got it as tight as I can. And another thing that's in my benefit here in Ohio is that we have a lot of clay in our soil. It's got good compactness. Matter of fact, it's almost too good. Sometimes you gotta break the spud bar out to bust it up. So now that our first paver's in place, clean it off and take a look at our level here. Okay, it shows that that side's got to go down. Yep, both directions. Now this is the mallet that I use. It's dead blow. As I said, don't hit these very hard, and especially in the center, because you will knock a hole in them. And sometimes it doesn't take a lot to move them. Like that, we went too far on that side. Well, that's pretty good. So what we'll do is we'll continue to trench to make the next one level and so on, all the way around till we get our first course. And the first course will take the longest. I got a little Empire 1-foot torpedo level, they call them. I don't use my magnet side because stuff will, if there's rust or anything in the ground, will stick to it and give you an inaccurate reading. Matter of fact, I use this aluminum side, and it's all tore up from me doing that because I've laid a lot of pavers with this poor thing. And the dead blow mallet, this can be obtained. I think I bought this at Lowe's, about 15 or 16 bucks. You can get them in different weights. This one I think is a 16-pounder. It used to say it on there, I probably wore it off. It's just a shockless and non-bound rubber hammer. Dead blow hammer, it says. Like I said, I think this one was about a 16-pounder, but it'll definitely develop the produce the wallop that you need to set these things down where they belong. Happy to report the pile is dwindling. It's a good thing. That skid will be gone today. I'm glad to have it out of the driveway. And after about 40 minutes of work, we're about halfway through the first course. Going pretty good. Laid me out some block for the rest of my starter course. And I'm going to take a break. And incidentally, before the day is over, I got to find a spot for this little guy. So the maple tree I dug out of that bed over there I'm working on before I started work. He's a pretty nice tree. I felt he should be kept. I put him in a rain bucket full of water last night, and he looks pretty good. Before we've taken these out and wrapped them in newspaper, the roots in newspaper, and dampened them and let them set till we planted them, they always got wilty. And this little guy stuck in that water yesterday afternoon and kept him in the shade for a good part of the day, and he stood up to the task pretty good. We got to get him in the ground, and we've also got to get these doggone things in the ground. I'm not sure what these are, but they come out of that bed over there when we first started working on it. So they need a home as well. First course is finally installed. It took about 2 hours to do this properly. And what I like to do once I have the course installed is to go around and tuck all the way around the outside and the inside and down in between the stone. Right here, tuck that in there, get that good and tight. We spent all that time trying to set these and make them good, and we don't want them to move. Take a little extra effort and finish it out correctly. That's just the way I do it. Like I said, this is just the way I do it. I'm just showing you all because I just wanted to share it with you. Shade is quickly disappearing, so we gotta get this wrapped up. I'll take a broom and I'll sweep off the outer perimeter, get this wheelbarrow out of here. That's all extra soil we'll save for later. I had to excavate to get this pretty well level with the ground, and I didn't want to exceed my well casing, like I said, right there in the middle. So I'll put the camera down, move some stuff, and I'll sweep these block off. We'll pick up here in a minute. Okay guys, it's not perfect, but it's done. I had to take the saw with the masonry blade, cut this guy right here. Now he doesn't fit in quite right. It's a little longer than the other ones. I think that's because I might have got my angles a little too steep. But by the time they get some dirt in here and get this built up a little bit and them cracks get filled in, I don't think you're really going to much notice it. It looks more like a keystone above a doorway, doesn't it? One of the great things about doing this work, you just got to kind of tweak it, and I might end up taking it when I get in there masonry blade and cutting a little bit off that back, making it a little less obvious. It's a little long, isn't it? Luckily I had a blade and a half, and that's about the best I could do with what I got right now. I'll have to tweak it up a little bit. So guys, pretty much everything's installed, everything's done. It doesn't look too bad. You stand back here, you don't notice that. And if you didn't point it out, you probably wouldn't notice it either, but it's one of them things that the person that puts it in knows exactly where it's at. So with this project down, we got many, many more to go. But I got the two most glaring done this weekend, so that makes me feel good. So what's next, you ask? Here's what's next. Loud exhaust I gotta take care of. Never a dull moment around here, is there? Right in front of the doggone catalytic converters where the hole's at. And I noticed it the other week, last week when I drove it to work one morning. I shut it off the day before, didn't have that noise, and the next morning, sure enough, she's got a loud exhaust. So, gotta take care of that, and gotta take care of a license plate light back here on this one side right here. It's not making contact, it won't light the bulb, so for now guys, I think that's going to do it. And here's my mess out here I made with the saw. So luckily there was enough block that on one side I could get the meat. You know, I had room between there to spare without breaking the pocket. The other side, I have a little bit of the pocket showing, but very much you can do about that. At least I got lucky it didn't split there. You can see how these, even though they're cast at a factory, they still have a little bit of a crack here, and it doesn't take much to break them sometimes. They split right at that notch. So that's it for now. I hope you all enjoyed part 2. Brought the fire up finally. That doggone stump I've been burning on for 3 weeks finally burned up yesterday. So guys, for now that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it wasn't too long and lengthy and boring and whatnot. And there'll be more to come later. More radio videos, hopefully. Got a couple in the works, so we'll talk at you later.